was probably the greatest moment. I stood on the stage with my brother, who wrote some of the scripts each week, and Scott, who is pretty much a brother at this point. And it was... Welcome back to another edition of Nonsense Reviews. Scott, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty darn good, Brandon. I'm feeling good. It's the end of the year for us here. Right. And thank you so much for listening to our videos and watching our videos and listening to our podcast this year. It's been a great year for us.
Yeah, so we're here to reflect on 2019 in regards to how it has been kind to us, to Nonsense News Nation, and also the world in general. So we're going to ponder a little bit. We're going to get a little nostalgic on you, because this is not only the end of the year, it's the end of a decade. Boys and girls, I hope you're listening. Hope you're listening well, because this may be a long one. Let's talk about the year, really. And we're going to start with, logically, January.
Yeah, so in January, we got Piranha Plant released for Smash Bros. I remember that much.
Piranha Plant win.
God, that's a highlight? I don't know.
Well, what movies came out in January? Do you remember?
January is a terrible time for movies.
Typically,
it's an awful time.
You work at a movie theater.
I do.
I know.
Some
movies.
So the only good thing about the movies in January is that movie employees get to chill a little bit, because December is such a big season. All the kiddie winks are out, and they want to see the latest animated film or Star Wars film.
Boy has that too.
So January is like a resting period. And that's how you start the year, with some rest. So it's very chill and not much happens. Good thing for movie employees, bad thing for people who actually care about film and cinema. But a highlight for me in January, I'm going to get a little bit spiritual on y'all. I went to Israel for my birthright because I have Jewish ancestry. And I want to exploit that and go on a free trip to Israel. And it turned out to be 2 weeks of a very life-changing experience. I saw all the big Israeli sites, the wall, not Trump's wall, a wall that's real and tangible.
You saw Filthy Frank's wall?
No, Nostalgia Critics the Wall.
Nostalgia Critics Wall.
And it was glorious. I actually did see Nostalgia Critics the Wall with Ben, who does a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff here at Nonsense News Nation. That was awful. That definitely isn't a highlight. I'm sorry I brought it up. But Israel, I met people from the country, from other states, and I really connected. So I became a lot more, I wouldn't say I'm not religious whatsoever, but I became more spiritual. So that definitely was a great experience for me. And what about you, my boy? What did you do in January? Any highlights? You can be honest with me. There's nothing that's fine.
Pretty much all of January, I spent it playing Persona 5.
Persona!
The majority of January, I love that game. I got a tattoo in honor of that game, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of Persona, we got an announcement
in December.
December prior,
yeah,
that Joker would be in Smash. So I'm sure you were preparing.
I spent the 4 months before his release just waiting every day for his anticipation of his release, and I was not let down by his release at all.
Right, and I mean, speaking of Smash, we got more DLC. We got Banjo-Kazooie finally. We've been waiting for.
Wow. If we're going right into video games, yeah, Banjo. Yeah. We got Hero from Dragon Quest,
who turned out to be good.
Terry,
who's not from Street Fighter but should be. He was great. So a lot of great additions there.
And then we move on to February, the month of love.
The month of love. Did you feel the love, baby?
Actually, yeah. I mean, I think that's when I started my relationship with someone we won't name here.
Yeah, Scott was in love for a time, and it was beautiful. For me, it didn't happen until later in the year, but we're happy for Scott. We're happy he got a little some.
It just didn't end well.
Yeah.
Don't fall in love with anybody ever. Stay single for the rest of your life. That's my best advice.
And if you're thinking about marrying and having kids, the world is already overpopulated and we're destroying ourselves. So please don't.
Why spend
fall
your
in love.
money on a significant other when you can spend it on yourself, traveling the world and buying video games? Because you're a gamer virgin.
Yeah, this is a very educational show. I'm learning a lot here. So February, I can't think of much besides being let down another Valentine's Day. So that was February. That was the excitement there.
Can I just say like one real quick thing? Every single Valentine's Day since I was 13, I've been with somebody.
Really?
But like for the majority of the year after that, I won't be with anybody.
A majority of times for February, throughout the years, I'd be single on Valentine's Day, but either like right after that or before, I would be in a relationship. It's kind of hilarious.
But not Valentine's Day, because screw you, Brandon.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like a very mushy-gushy person, very lovey-dovey, deep down. So I always get excited, play a couple love songs, get in the mood. I don't know why I'm getting in the mood. There's no one here, but that's what a lone bathroom and tissues are for. So we'll end February right there. I'm gonna go to March.
March.
That's a doozy.
What happened in March?
Can we just skip March? I can't think of anything for March.
And I can tell you what happened in April. Joker came out and Smash.
No, Joker came out in October, you idiot.
What's so funny? Freak?
That's not what No, Joker Persona 5.
That's not what everyone's thinking about when they think Joker. But we'll get into that, the real Joker of 2019 later, as opposed to this faker.
And you graduated in May.
Yeah, well, I mean, well, spoilers, okay? Thanos demands your silence. Remember that meme? Okay, so April 30th, that's when Avengers Endgame came out. That's a highlight. We should talk about that. Of course.
Avengers Endgame is one of the greatest movies to be released this year.
It's probably the greatest cinematic event because there's 10 years of build-up and massive payoff. Infinity War was the start of this payoff, and Endgame concluded it with some great character moments, great trailers beforehand, a great story, and characters you just have to care about. A well-made movie, and in this cynical time, with Disney especially, making these cash grab films, whether it be from Star Wars, or it be their many Disney remakes like Aladdin and Lion King that came out this year. This was a breath of fresh air, and it became the highest grossing film of all time, beating out Avatar, another Disney film. Disney always wins.
They're gonna own us all very soon.
Very soon. So that was April, and
in May.
I mean, that's
we won our Mac Award in May.
Yes. So before we had Nonsense News Nation, we had another show. This is pretty much a continuation. We had something called the Damage Report on our college radio station, OWWR, Westbury Web Radio. I have not uttered those letters in a long time. It's like saying Voldemort around me. I just don't say it. But yeah, we had this show. It was like an hour-long version of the show we have now. And I won I think 4, 5
I think you
Mac
won
Awards.
4 Mac Awards. We won for Best Promo.
Best Radio Station Promo.
And we won
Best Show.
Best Show,
Out
of course.
Of all the shows, our stupid little show that I was surprised got even nominated won.
How many shows were actually going on at the radio station?
And the radio station, there's actually quite a few, but I think maybe 5 or 6 were nominated.
Okay.
But out of those, we won.
So that was
and it was probably the greatest moment. I stood on the stage with my brother, who wrote some of the scripts each week, and Scott, who was pretty much a brother at this point. And it was...
I hugged him. Anyway.
Yeah, it was a very magical moment, and one of the best experiences of 2019 for me. And also later that month, I mean, I went to Hershey Park for $10. It was the biggest steal of my life. And
$10?
$10,
What are you
yeah.
talking about?
There was like a school event, and you paid $10. So that was like, this is just.
Oh,
a
I
steal.
forgot to mention something that happened in January. I went to Nashville. I went to Nashville by myself for 3 days. That was really life-changing in a lot of ways too. Not in the same way your Israel trip was. But
Could you tell the story? What happened?
one night when I was in Nashville, I was walking down the street, and there was a homeless guy. He was drunk, and he goes, "Hey boy," and he looks at me, and I go, "Yeah, what?" And then he just goes, "This world's going to hell in a handbasket real fast." Something like that.
He knew.
He knew.
He knew about Trump's impeachment.
He
He knew about Joker and the controversy.
The government was shut down in January. Remember that? It was shut down all of January.
Right. Wow, January, there was more to it.
There's a lot to it. But we're going to skip. We're going to go right to June. Unless we're done with May.
Come on, I graduated college in May.
I'm sorry.
A year early. I think that's
an
achievement
achievement in and of itself.
Exactly.
We had a lot of accomplishments this year, as you can tell. A lot of great things. I think me and Brandon, both as people, really grew.
We did really grow character development.
We grew together in a lot of ways.
I mean,
through the radio show, but individually.
Scott knew me at the end of 2018. I knew him, and I'd like to say we're different people. At least people who have blossomed and are continuing to blossom.
In many ways.
Right. So I guess we can go into June a little bit.
Yeah.
I went to a few cons on Long Island, and the big highlight I could say there is, on a personal note, at Eternal Con, which is Long Island's biggest Comic-Con, I met the creator of The Crow.
The Crow is his link between the land of the living and the realm of the dead.
Bang! I'm dead!
James O'Barr, and The Crow is like my favorite comic book, my favorite movie, so it was surreal, and I like a terrible cosplay of The Crow, but like...
You also met James Arnold Taylor.
Yeah, the voice of Johnny Test, and I got him to advertise Nonsense News Nation. I'll play the clip right here.
Hello there, Obi-Wan Kenobi here for Nonsense News. Oh, wait, it's Nonsense News
Nation, you got
Nation.
it. Yeah.
Nation is nonsense. No, it's news. It's nation. No, it's national nation nonsense. No, it's nation. No, wait a second. I need Johnny Test to come and help.
Yeah, it's of course, what is it now? It's nation news. No, I'm totally messed up now. Wow, but it's totally awesome. See ya.
And he also mentioned one of the greatest animes of all time, B Shrek Test in the House, a culmination of B-movie, Shrek, Johnny Test, and Corey in the freaking house. And we got him to say something there. I'll show you that clip.
Well, hello there. Hey, everybody, it's James Arnold Taylor, the voice of Obi-Wan Kenobi, Florent Flintstone,
And of course, Johnny Test. And I'm here for, well, another exciting adventure of B Shrek Test in the house. Yeah, it's totally awesome.
It's amazing.
See ya.
It's been a meme for like this whole decade, so that in itself is a highlight of the 2010s.
Absolutely.
And I posted it on my main channel, BMNJJ2 Comedy, and it got thousands of views. I guess we can go into July.
My birthday was in July. I spent like almost a week in Virginia Beach. I was miserable a lot of that month because my relationship was not great.
Yeah, and I was starting. Well, I think in June I was starting a relationship myself, and it seemed really good. And then, I'm not gonna get into it, but I'm single right now. If that's any consolation, yeah.
Yeah, we both of us went through some love issues, or yeah.
Yeah, but we love each other.
We got through everything. We had some great times with those people, but
yeah, I mean that's the thing about love and relationships in general. A lot of people are so concerned about who they're gonna end up with and stay with, and maybe it's not about that. It's about being with the person at that time in your life. Because I could tell you in past relationships how strongly I felt, and they ended, and I have no regrets because for that time they were special. But now I'm a different person. That version of Brandon got some good stuff there, but this version of Brandon is looking for other things. So I hope that's something you could reflect on yourself. Same with you, Scott.
of course, I think about it a lot.
Yeah, because we're because we're guys, and a lot of times, unfortunately, we think with our peepees. So we are gonna think about that a lot.
So July was a
Birthday.
my birthday, and
Talk about love and the mushy gushy stuff.
but we're gonna move on to August.
Well,
Something
that's
great.
my birthday.
I know your birthday was just a few weeks after mine.
Exactly. It's meant to be.
I know.
It was glorious. I had a little birthday bash at my house. Scott was there. Ben was there.
That's where I met Ben.
Yeah, and the friendship blossomed. They're smooching behind camera, behind the. Yeah,
I love this
awful.
man.
But yeah, we had a good time there. I turned 21.
You had almost like 30 people at your house.
Right, yeah.
That was a great time.
It was.
That was such a great birthday.
Yeah, but it actually was not I didn't have my first legal drink then. I actually had it in Israel when I was 20 years old, because the drinking age is a little bit different. It's 18, so.
It's 11?
You can get. It's 13, because you become a man at your bar mitzvah.
Why wouldn't. We won't get into that now. But that's fury. That's infuriating.
So I feel like a savage. I feel like a boss that I had my first legal drink before age 21. What a savage thing.
I think we started at WGBB in June.
We did start in June.
We had 2 months. We had 2 shows each month, except in October, I believe. We had only 1 show in October.
Yeah, and we came on back. So radio station wise, we were good there. We developed a podcast a little bit later on, starting. I think it was July.
I think it was
maybe
July.
August.
Somewhere in the summer.
We started Nonsense Reviews, which you're hearing right now.
We did reviews of the Zim movie. We did a review of Dora and the Chipmunks album.
Arctic Dogs.
Arctic Dogs.
That's gonna be a highlight for November.
That's the highlight. Oh yeah, November.
Yeah.
We saw them.
So yeah, I mean, we made a website. We're on all these different places.
You made the website mainly. I didn't help with that.
I just did it one random. I'm like, hey Scott, I made a website. And we're on Spotify now, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and I want to keep growing. I'm proud of this, and I'm grateful for our friendship, for my friendship with Ben, and for this brand, which I'm super proud of.
Also in August, I got a new job. I started working at I won't say here where I work, but I work for a CBD dispensary, and I love that job.
So if you want to get lit, visit Scott. He's got you.
We'll move on to September. Where I released the solo EP that I was working on during the summer.
So Scott was part of a band.
Oh, in May I released the single with the band also.
Yeah. So you were in, can I say the band?
Yeah.
Sheep Surveillance, punk rock band. I saw them live, actually, earlier in the year, and they were awesome.
That's right.
Scott was definitely the highlight. This dude could shred, so when I heard that he was making his own EP, it was like nuts to believe, and he actually sang, and it's pretty good. Yeah,
right.
So that was September. September is usually a pretty bland month, too. But...
in October.
Big but. No. We're going to skip...
I'm sorry.
Okay, Israel may have been a holy experience. Winning the MAC Awards with my boy Scott.
You know what else happened in
The biggest thing in September, the thing that made my life, is I got to see my favorite band of all time, who I've been obsessed with for a decade, Bloc Party. This indie rock band who made their seminal debut album, Silent Alarm, in 2005, and they went on tour playing the whole album in its entirety backwards. My favorite album of all time, favorite band of all time, and Scott, you were there. I was front and center, like literally hugging the stage. I touched freaking Kelly.
He touched
the
you.
lead singer. He touched me
during Ratchet.
And it was consensual. Don't worry, folks. And it wasn't
like Onision touch.
I mean, the thing, music, going to concerts is like a pretty spiritual experience because you're with people who also really enjoy the same music as you, who worship these people on stage. So it's almost like going to like a church, but
you actually really like the pastor.
But the pastor... And
you want the pastor to touch you,
yeah,
as opposed to the pastor just going ahead.
And you're also not a little child.
You're a little child inside.
Inside, yeah.
But the Bloc Party concert was incredible. I had a great time.
Yeah, I'm glad I got to
wasn't
share
really
this guy.
familiar with their music until you showed me them, and I'm happy I went. You had... That was the happiest I'd seen you all year.
Yeah, it's the
Without
happiest I've ever
question.
been. And the question was for me, once I hit my absolute peak, where do I go from here? And then that's something I contemplated. And when I saw Joker in October, it also furthered my head. It also filled my head with these thoughts.
Are you having any negative thoughts? All I have are negative thoughts.
It's crazy thoughts of
Suicide and murdering people at the same time, right?
No, I mean, that's hyperbole there. But, yeah, the next highlight is Joker in October, which was filled with controversy. People thought that they'd get shot up for seeing it, which is ridiculous because they were thinking about Dark Knight Rises, which came out in 2012. And the only reason why it did get shot up, first of all, Joker wasn't even in that movie. That was a Bane movie, idiots. The reason why it got shot up is just because it was a popular movie at the time. It could have been anything. It could have been like 50 Shades of Grey.
Wasn't that person dressed up as Batman?
No,
Or
he
Bane?
just had like red hair.
Oh,
Joker has green hair.
It was me.
It was you.
I have
It was
red
a ginger. I don't have a soul. I'm not going to heaven. I'm gonna kill y'all.
We also were watching the South Park Tegrity Farms episodes.
Going down to Tegrity Farms, gonna have myself a time.
So that was a big
in
highlight.
October.
Yeah. And I mean, nothing happened with Joker. There wasn't really any riots or anything. It was just a really good movie.
No, we saw it together, right?
Yeah, and I'm at the theater I work at. Like the security was hyped up. There's police circling around the place. It was nuts.
They were taking it way too far.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand they have to be safe.
There was more riots with Frozen 2.
Imagine like someone got like during Arctic Dogs, it was shot up.
It'd be a terrible way to go. It's already a bad movie. And speaking of highlights, next month, November, you got Thanksgiving, things to be thankful for. So that month, we are thankful for things. Like I was thankful for Arctic dogs.
Swifty always dreamed of being the world's greatest sled dog.
You are not a dog. What? You are a small Arctic fox.
A movie that seems so mediocre, so plain, so boring. We actually saw a trailer for it when watching Toy Story 4.
Which
was
movie.
another highlight.
Another highlight.
I think that was June, I think.
And also
That was
Invader Zim Florpus was a highlight.
Yeah, for animation.
Great year for animation.
Yeah, and also a bad year because you had Ugly Dolls and you had Arctic Dogs.
And Big Mouth Season 3.
Right. And Arctic Dogs, it seems like the most generic film of all time. That like a Walmart DVD bin at the bottom of the bin film that we had to check out. And there's one terrible joke where Jeremy Renner, who we later confirmed this year, which is another tragic highlight, that he beats his ex-wife. So this animated fox that beats his ex-wife, he said this.
That smell! It's like the planet made of poopy.
There's like this gas that he smells like. Oh,
Maybe
gas!
you could play the clip.
Yeah, I will. It's like a planet took a poopy. And like after that we had to see the film and it was awful. Like there was nothing good about it besides Alec Baldwin, who played a polar bear named PB.
Who freaked out on Swifty for no reason.
That's been a thing that Scott and I say. If there's ever someone who's like good to you but then freaks out of nowhere, that's pulling a PB.
It's pulling a BB on your boy.
Because PB loved Jeremy Renner until randomly he suddenly didn't. But then he got over it a scene later. So that's called pulling a PB.
It was the worst movie I've seen this year, probably.
And also in November, The Mandalorian started.
Mandalorian, look outside. They're waiting for you.
And that gave hope for the Star Wars
Disney
series.
Plus as a whole came out.
Disney Plus, exactly. Right. And The Mandalorian really elevated Disney Plus, and it brought hope to the Star Wars franchise, which seemed bleak. Because spoilers for December, Rise of Skywalker, for a lot of people, a lowest grossing Star Wars film of that trilogy, did the worst out of the trilogy, and was overall a disappointment. Even if you didn't hate the movie, you have to admit it could have been a lot better. So to have Mandalorian directed by Jon Favreau, or produced by Jon Favreau. Breathe life, fresh life, do something different. And bring in Baby Yoda, the cutest little thing ever.
And blend him up and drink him, like the memes suggest.
Yeah, like that is such an incredible thing to do for like this franchise that is just so fatigued at this point. And I can only hope for more good stuff.
In conclusion, we've had a fantastic year. It's overall been a pretty great year for entertainment.
For us, this is a very personal nonsense review. If you don't relate to this, I understand, but we just want to make this for ourselves to reflect upon. And while 2019 sort of fizzled out for me at the end, I wasn't at my peak. I think it ended with Bloc Party, unfortunately. But I know I'm going to move on to bigger and better things starting 2020. You got to keep moving forward. That's the advice I can give. Because if you're reaching your peak in life, you're not always going to be there. That's just life. It's like a roller coaster. It's ups and downs, and hell, it's loop-de-loops. So you got to keep going and work hard on yourself. And you know what? In due time, you will be the best version of yourself. So that's my advice. And I give the year of 2019 my nonsense seal of approval.
This was a nonsensical year that threw me into God's butthole and then it pooped me out. That's all I can say. I learned a lot. I had a good year.
And does it get your nonsense seal of approval?
Ben says yes.
So therefore Scott says yes. That's 3 out of 3. Pretty much that's a 10 out of 10 in 3 out of 3 terms. Guys, we really hope you enjoyed our zany little show. We're on Spotify, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Anchor, YouTube's, the Facebook, the Instagram, the Twitter. We have a website, nonsensenewsnation.com. We are everywhere. Please check us out. We'll see you next year.
And we have a lot of good stuff planned, so please keep tuning. Thank you again for watching us this year.
I've been Brad Nellis.
I've been Scott.
And this is Nonsense News Nation. Nonsense Reviews, signing off.